Alright, nearly a year has passed now. Is CS2 better than CSGO? Yes, but also no, and also definitely not, and also, yeah, of course. It's simultaneously the best and worst thing Valve have ever done, and it's a tragedy and also a work of art. Did I lay that on thick enough? The truth is that there's a lot of noise and strong opinions around CS2, and it's not all positive, as you're probably aware. We're here to lay out the good, the bad, and the downright funny without too much in the way of personal opinion just yet. So what are the big differences between the two games? Quite simply, the most obvious one is the addition of subtick versus the old tick rate system. We're not as au fait with the intricacies of the system as the boffins at Valve who created it, and we're certainly nowhere near as intelligent when it comes to subtick as the average Redditor, but we have played enough CS to feel the differences. In theory, it's supposed to be uber precise and should get rid of any weird situations that occurred in CSGO between ticks, but in practice it's been a little messy. There's enough clips of people being tracked back or shot around corners etc. that you've probably already seen. We don't know if this is an issue with subtick specifically or some weird netcode thing, but it is worth mentioning. There was also a pretty aggressive peeker's advantage at some point, which has been pared down to a more CSGO-like level. There are good sides to subtick too. There's no need to learn 2 sets of grenades when switching between matchmaking and FACEIT, which is pretty nice. Given it's completely new tech and we've only had a year of it, it really hasn't been that bad. It might not be perfect right now, but Valve are pretty sure it will be better with time, so we just have to give them that time. However, one unintended consequence has been to movement. Movement nerds have been non-stop kvetching about how movement is inconsistent, and, well, it sort of is. Sometimes you just fail crouch jumps that it feels like you shouldn't. Sometimes you're inaccurate whilst boosting on someone's head. I don't know if that is related, but it feels like it is. It's also harder to train movement right now because a community server browser isn't working, but there is always third-party solutions. One big improvement from CSGO to CS2 is the smokes. Take one look back at any clip of CSGO and the first thing you'll notice is how ugly the old smokes are. You probably also remember how abusable they were, from sitting inside them to using lighting tricks to spot people to abusing one-ways. CSGO smokes were, in retrospect, pretty terrible. In CS2, the smokes are not only much less of an eyesore, but also far more functional. You can't abuse them in the same way because they bloom volumetrically, that means they fill the space like water or cats, and you can't sit in them and see people on the map in the same way. You can sort of abuse them, but at least you have to blow them away with a grenade to see through them now. CS2 looks much sexier than CSGO in all aspects really. It's pretty hard to argue against. The lighting is better, the water's realistic, the player models have actual detail, the maps are more colourful with real attention to even the smaller bits. It looks like a game made in, well, at least 2012, which you would think would be a huge boon, but there's a catch. I can't speak for all of you, but my FPS has basically halved, and I know I'm not alone. The water on Ancient and Anubis is gorgeous, but my PC heavily disagrees. There are a few performance issues. Lower FPS, occasional stutters and more have been reported by a wide array of gamers on a wide array of setups, which definitely could do with some attention. Some big system changes were made in the Switch too. The change to MR12 had a mixed bag of reactions at the time, and in truth those feelings still exist for a portion of the player base, but it's largely been a neutral change. Games are shorter, the economy is even more stretched, but each round feels more important and you're less drained after each game. Premier isn't new, but it's a lot shinier and better than it was on CSGO as long as one ignores certain issues. Look, we can't dance around it forever, there are cheaters in Premier, and you only need to look at the leaderboard to see some. It's an issue, but it wasn't not an issue in CSGO in fairness. On the plus side, Premier offering the map veto, the elo system that's clearer and better than CSGO is very nice, and if it wasn't for the cheating, Premier would be the main place to play. The other differences are more to do with updates to the game since it's running, for example the CT molly being cheaper and frankly quite a bit worse. This was born out of the economy being harder to deal with thanks to MR12, and CTs saving money on incendiaries is pretty nice, even if they're worse than they were. The map pool has changed too, which we've spoken about already, and have definitely contributed to the feeling that CS2 isn't at its peak yet. Dust 2 divides opinion and it replaced Overpass, which is almost certainly more tactical, making the map pool a little bit less interesting to those who like that side of the game. The fact that Vertigo and Mirage and Inferno have all stayed have irritated many, with Overpass being completely redone for CS2 before being removed in under a year. Vertigo in the meantime has been revamped and now is at least a little more balanced. Is it a good map? Is Nicolas Cage a good actor? CS2 is a very different game to CSGO, but if it's better or not is really to do with your own opinion. It does some things better, but right now there's a few issues with performance and subtick that even Rops is struggling to get an answer on in due time. It's not perfect, but no game ever will be. What do you think? Is CS2 better than CSGO now? Will it ever be? What changes are you most happy or most upset with? As always, let us know down below.